Good evening, welcome to Leicester Fan TV. It's Monday night, it's 7:30. It's me, Phil, me and you. We've got lots to talk about. There's Leicester City, there's signings, there's players going. We've got that manager. What do you want to talk about? The next 25 minutes is totally down to you. Yeah, we're going to finish a couple of minutes early so we can all bob off and watch the Euros at 8. So I want to know what you guys want to talk about. You want to talk about Dewsbury-Hall? Obviously, we've put that as the title of today's show. He's gone, he's going, he's gone for 30 million. Are you happy with that? Does it get us out of a hole? Did you want more? Do you think that's about right? Do you think actually it's a bit over what he's worth? Let me know what you think in the next 25 minutes. Leicester Fan TV is for you. It's fans' views. What do you want to talk about? Let's get on with it.
The Leicester City machine is on the march again.
Leicester Fan TV presents a variety of content, like fan discussions, match analysis, and engaging with Leicester fans worldwide. We want your views live. Thanks to our sponsors, Evron's, Follow Blinds, Pocker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hologram, Take Me, Nubian Co, and the Fox's Arms and Rainbows. We are live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes, good evening and welcome Leicester Fan TV. We're live every Monday at 7:30 with me. We're live every Thursday with Locks and every Sunday with Jamie in the famous Aftermath Show. And of course, we go live. Anything exciting happens. Dewsbury-Hall, thank you for your time at Leicester. Thank you for helping get us back up to the Premier League. But the local lad looks like, well, he's gone. Everybody says he's gone. We just haven't got the photo of him holding the T-shirt saying, I'm a Chelsea player. We might have seen Fafana's little tweet, little Instagram, little Fox and a 22. What do you think to that? Get your views in, get your comments in. Don't forget you can follow us right here at Leicester Fan TV, whatever channel you are on. But as ever, we want to get your views in, your comments, as many on as possible. I'm going to get Reedy to join me as well. So he's going to be giving you his thoughts on these things. Andy says, good evening, Andy. Thank you for watching. 30 million was fair as Madders only went for 40 million, but we needed to sell. Probably sums it up. Are you happy? Do you agree with Andy? 30 million, about right for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Why do Chelsea always nick our players? Not KDH, man, says Zach, watching on YouTube. He's unlucky with that. Carlos says, good evening. Feel sorry for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Will fade away at Chelsea and be a bench warmer. I'm very sad for him and wish him all the best. Here's a question. Thanks, Carlos. Here's a question for you guys watching, certainly the older ones. Matt Piper, I believe, has always been fairly vocal that he got sold to Sunderland when he left Leicester. He's a Leicester lad. He was enjoying his time at Leicester, got sold to Sunderland. I believe this is correct because Leicester needed the money. I think we sold him for about 3 or 4 million quid back in the day, which was a lot of money back then for Pipes. I think that's what he went for. I'm doing this off the top of my head. He didn't really want to go, he said, but the money was right and he knew the club needed the money. So he effectively moved because it worked for the club. He knew it sort of was going to do. I'm not saying Dewsbury-Hall's done that because it's definitely a step up for him, but perhaps has he gone because he knows the club need the money and they've said, look, Kiernan, it's Chelsea. We've got a deal, go. But maybe not. I don't know. Patrick says, know the guy buying him, watched him every single of his game time last year, saw every heavy touch, every miscontrol and every botched 5-yard pass. If I was a Chelsea fan, I'd be concerned. Can you imagine Man City, Liverpool or Arsenal signing him? Patrick, I think, again, I would agree with a lot of what Patrick said there. I said this in a conversation yesterday and today when it was coming clear that Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall was going. I like KDH, but was he at the races every game in the Championship last season? My honest is, no, I don't think he was. Was he the best player on the pitch last year? Yes. Some of the days he was, but some of the other days he totally went missing. And the final bit I'd say, which I agree with Patrick, is if I was a Chelsea fan, I don't think I'd be that raving about Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall coming. Nick says, good evening, Nick. 30 million seems the fair price, and we needed the money. No brainer, really, because the only other player with pure value would be Nelson, and he isn't 30 million in there. Callum says, shame we have to sell these players to balance the books. Club has been run so badly recently. Maybe you want to weigh in on what Callum's saying. There's been a lot of chat over the last couple of days about how the club's being run and what's going on. So if you want to talk about that, we can talk about it. Nick, good evening. Nick says, correct on Piper. Thanks, Nick. I think Matt Piper's been pretty open about that it wasn't particularly what he wanted to do. But he took one for the team, did his hometown club a huge favour, as Nick says there. I'm not saying that's what Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall's done, because I think maybe Leicester to Sunderland at the time was a step up for Pipes in some ways, but I think Leicester to Chelsea is a step up. You just have to agree with that, I think. Mark says, don't think Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall will be the difference of us staying up or not next season. Mark, I would agree with you on that, and I'm gonna add a question to you guys on that. Is Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall irreplaceable? I don't think he is irreplaceable. I think maybe we can replace him within the players we've already got. Bubba says, I'm glad to see you guys confused by all these financial problems, because as a USA Fox, I'm completely confused by them. Our sports have salary caps, luxury tax, but the clubs can throw as much money around as they want. I believe Chelsea are about to have spent £195 million in the past 2 days. If all their deals that are going through happen. I think that's about what they spent, which sounds very, very strange. Danny says he feels the club is all over the place at the moment in there. Richie says get rid of Rudkin and Whelan. Richie won't be the only person saying that. Ben is even saying, is it time for Top to sell up in there? Matt, whoa, hang on, I'm going to have to read this properly from Matt. Matt, after 45 years, I'm done with the club. Sick of the fans being punished for someone else's negligence. Where's the money gone? Big questions. And I know Matt is not the only person asking big questions and weighing up what it's like to be a fan. I have to be honest. I don't feel being a fan is the same as it was when I was younger. Maybe that's because I'm an old git now and I'm 50s. But it does feel like it's not quite the same as it used to be. I know I have a brother who can't. It's too much to take your family to go and watch a game. If there is tickets, it's just too much to buy a £100 membership and £100 worth of tickets. £200 to go and watch a game for one game. It's too much. The next shirt's going to be, how much is the new shirt going to be? £75. They'll bring 3 out in the season. And it'll look pretty much, the shirt will look pretty much like this. You know, it is a lot. It's a big ask at the moment. Good evening, Matt. Hope you're well. 30 seems cheap. Was thinking 40 plus. I think 30 is all right, Matt. I genuinely do. I think I like Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall. Played in the Championship. 30 million's a lot of money. I'm going to get Reedy in. Give us a thumbs up, Reedy, if you're ready to come in. There we go. Good evening, Reedy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Firstly, welcome to the Monday Fan Zone show. I know you're often on with Jamie on the Aftermath show, but welcome to where the real action is.
Oh, thank you, mate. Appreciate it. It's definitely not because we've been working on a Sunday first time in about 4 years, but yeah.
Stepping up. Here's a question. Reedy, we're going to go through, as ever, Mondays. We'll flick around. We want as many comments on screen as we can. Matt says the club is totally disconnected with the club. Reedy, what is your take? How do you feel? You're obviously a much, much younger fan than me. You're in your mid-20s. Your association with the club's been over the last 10 years or so. How do you feel about the club as we go into this new Premier League season? Are you a little bit disenfranchised with everything that's going on, or no, this is okay?
I think with everything that's happened the last 10 years, obviously we're winning things a lot. Again, like people say, that I've had probably the golden era of Leicester where you've won pretty much nearly all the cups and all the trophies you can do. I don't think the fan base, as in the atmosphere in the ground's ever been really that good, other than that 1 year when we won the league. And I think maybe that's down to like certain inbringings from the club, as in player transfers, or if it's management appointments. Again, it's not been the greatest. I think, in my opinion, last year was probably a bit better because obviously we were winning games left, right, and centre. But then, like I say, you can't win every game when it comes to the Premier League. So I'm not too sure. I don't know what you can do to bring that sort of atmosphere, or even the club to connect with the fans better. Maybe, like you said with Steve Cooper, maybe he's the one to rally the crowd and get them going again, because he, like I say, he did that with Forest, and that helped them stay up. So maybe this year is the time for someone like Cooper to come in and do that. But like I said, the last 10 years haven't been the greatest when it comes to the atmosphere and stuff like that.
I think 2000, The Greatest Escape was a great season.
Them years, yes, but
Premier League. Well, yeah, the Premier League win, the Champions League, some of the European nights, the FA Cup run.
No, the big, like I said, the big game, the ones that are like big games, fair enough. But I don't feel, like I say, I'm gonna keep mentioning Forest, but their ground every single week at the home ground is electric. I saw at Leeds when we went there last season, electric. Even if it was against us and they were competing with us for top spot, they're like that every single game. So I just don't see that at all with Leicester, other than when it comes to like the big games against Man City or in a big European night and stuff like that. I just don't see it.
I know, I get that, Reedy, and I think you're right. And again, get your views in on what you think of what Reed is saying in there. Jonathan says Filbert Street was a cauldron of noise. I think it's lost in the King Power. Jonathan, it can be. No, I think it can be noisier in the King Power when it's really rocking than Filbert Street ever was, because of the bowl atmosphere. When the King Power's going, when it's going, is great. And again, Reedy's talked. I genuinely, day by day, I get more excited about Steve Cooper being our manager, because I genuinely think he is going to bring something different to Leicester that we haven't had probably since, I'm going to say, Claudio Ranieri and Nigel Pearson. He is back, in my books, he is back to Claudio Ranieri and Nigel Pearson. I think it is going to be more exciting. I love the fact that some fans the other day in a live were questioning me and saying, oh, Cooper doesn't stick to the same tactics all the time. I love the fact he doesn't stick to the same tactics all the time. And I do enjoy what he's going to bring. Watching England last night, Reedy, was like watching Enzo ball. It was so one-dimensional. Yes, we got away with it because we were playing a European team ranked about 45 or 50. Leicester got away with it last season because we were playing teams like Rotherham and QPR. I just think I'm bored by a lot of the Euros, by Enzo type ball, obsession with possession. I'm bored of it. I can't wait to see a bit more direct, Reedy.
I get that point of view, and obviously in my eyes, because obviously I'm a bit younger fan of football in general, I prefer that sort of style because we've been used to growing up with, like I say, the style of possession-based football now. But I do get me in, and we don't know what Cooper's going to bring. Again, it could be a possession style of football. We don't know yet because we've not seen a ball kicked yet. But from what you're saying, and from what we've known of Cooper at Forest and the other clubs as well, he does play more direct football, and that's maybe what we'll do is better. Like I say, with Vardy up front or even Daka, people will probably crucify me for saying Daka's word, but again, fast pace up front, just boot the ball up a bit more or be a bit more direct with the balls. You never know. And I even watched Vardy's goals from last season. The most of his goals last season were down to a bit more direct play.
Reedy, we had this chat yesterday, me and Reedy did, and people watching this, and the debate was, I was saying, and I think Reedy's agreeing now with me, is that Jamie Vardy, if he signed on, where does Jamie Vardy like the ball? Where does he want it, Reedy?
But behind or over the top?
Yeah, he wants it sliding through that he can run onto over the top. That's where Jamie Vardy wants it. But where does Daka want it?
In the same place.
The same place.
Again, the last 3 or 4 years, even under Rodgers, we never played that style of football. No. Yes, it's because it's passive possession based, and they still do score. But we always kept saying, oh, the strikers basically don't play because they never get the service. Yeah. And people will say, oh, Vardy should have made chances more. I'm like, no, it's because the ball never gets to them.
So we've got two strikers, Vardy and Patson Daka, both want the same ball. They want it sliding down the channel or over the top, and they'll use their blistering pace. Even Vardy's still blistering to go through. So build the team around that and have. We were talking about formations yesterday, but use Vardy and or Daka as the. And Winks can be, my big thing is Winks can be the quarterback like Danny Drinkwater used to be in that season. I think we've got a ready-made person who can sometimes, not every time, Drinkwater didn't used to ping it forward every time, but he did it enough that when he got the ball, Vardy was on his run. Vardy and Daka can do that with Winks, really, I think.
Well, not even just them two. You've got obviously Fatu as well, who likes just being direct football, like more direct. Obviously, you've got Mavadidi, who's a bit more skillful and probably likes to take a man on more. But like I say, someone like Fatu as well, if you go down the wing side of things, he'll go straight down the wing as well and get to the byline and do whatever he needs to do. So there's enough pace in the team. Again, Vardy's still, 38 now or whatever he is, and he's still got the pace in him, and he's still completely batter teams if he's got the right balls. But like I said, last season, most of Vardy's goals last season was from that sort of style of football. I mean, so
Nick says here, think we'll see more of Cody under Cooper. I actually think, again, we were picking through the team yesterday, really, and we went through the defence, and you go, actually, the players that we've got already with Cody, with Vestergaard, with Baez, with Ricardo Pereira, with James Justin, even Christensen in there, and Suter. You look at the defence and you go, it can be fairly solid, and Hermansen in goal. I think we've got a fairly back lineup that is solid. It's going to be put under the cosh, really, but I think we've got a solid defence.
Yeah, like I was saying yesterday I was saying even last season that I feel like if you look at the most players in the team last season, they are low level but are Premier League quality. Again, most of them have been in the Premier League for a year or two, or even more than that. Like I say, you got Ricardo Pereira as well, who has done it year in, year out in the Premier League other than one season. So they're good enough to do it. You just got to try and find that chemistry and that togetherness in that back line to keep as many goals out the goal as possible. And like I say, with Hermansen in goal as well, hopefully that would be even better, because again, this team's already been playing together last season, and now you just got to make sure it's fully ready to go for next season.
Well, we've been talking about Hermansen being solid, a back five potentially who are solid, and then you've got the midfield, which is, Winks as your quarterback, and then if it's Ndidi, which, Reedy, you got any more on Ndidi?
There's nothing. I can't see him staying at this point, because, like I said, when we heard about Pratt going and Albrighton going, we thought, you know what, there might be talks with a contract, but we've not heard anything in a long time. And now I think today is that day where he is on a free and away. So unless we do get offer him a contract, I think it will be where he does depart the club. But realistically, will he want to stay at Leicester when he could get a move maybe to like a Fulham or West Ham or maybe even abroad? I don't think he would want to stay and try and stay with Leicester when he could go to a bigger club than us.
And again, me and Reedy yesterday, this was obviously not on camera. We had about an hour and a half's chat about, I was trying to convince Reedy why Steve Cooper, I'm excited. And part of it is because I think we can play with a solid keeper. We can play with 7 defenders, which includes Winks, but Winks is the pivot man. And then we say to Mavadidi and Fatua, the ball's going to come up to you, and Mavadidi and Fatua are going to love having the ball to run and be told, run at the box. None of this sideways, backwards, sideways stuff. Run at the box as fast as you can, take players on, and either have a shot or get it through to Vardy. And I think we've got 3 very exciting forwards there in Mavadidi, Fatua, and Jamie Vardy, or Daka. And much as I've been a critique of Daka, I still think he can come good. I genuinely do.
He never gets a service as well.
Yeah, but with that, Fatua, Mavadidi, Vardy, or Daka, it's coming fast, and you are going to go as fast as you can.
If you think about it as well, if you look at some of the teams that are lower sided in the Premier League last season, none of them have that sort of pace. They all have them like either really stocky plan B style of players where they're just tall, lanky players, or you've got wingers who are probably a bit more skillful and without that much pace. Again, we've got a full attack now of very, very fast pacey players who could really do something on the counter. So don't get me wrong, I don't think we should be countering every 2 minutes, but again, when the time is right, like half the time in the Championship last season, where we just ping balls up to the attack on the counter, then it can work very well.
Yeah, I mean, Ben Morgan says here, Suter, Cody, Vestergaard, they're all too slow. I agree, Ben, totally. But again, if we take England yesterday against Slovakia, the way I think Leicester will line up is we're not the best team in the match. In virtually every game, we're not the best team. So play, and this is where I think Cooper will be better than Enzo ball by a million miles, because Enzo's self-inflated ego will say we can play possession and tactics of Man City. But Cooper, I think, will set them up and go, right, we need to be Slovakia. We need to defend. Because if we get 2 rows of 4 or 5 and a 4 and we defend, the teams many teams will find that highly frustrating. Suter and Cody and Vestergaard in a defensive lineup don't have to be fasted because they're having blocks, a block of 5 and a block of 4, however it works out. But then the minute you get the ball, you burst forward like Slovakia did and like other countries have done in these Euros. Obsession with possession, Reedy. It's the emperor's new clothes, and a lot of fans are just going, we have to play this way. We totally don't. And again, the Euros is just backing that up. You don't have to be an obsession with possession, Reedy. Is what I'm trying to convince you with.
I think because I think the most upcoming managers and new managers that are coming into the more management side of things want to do that because they can see it's probably the most it's the best style of football to try and win games in a way. Obviously, a lot of if everyone, like I say, if you said every single team in the Premier League did it, then obviously you'd probably have whoever's the best at it will to win the league, if you know what I mean. But again, I prefer to see it in my eyes because I enjoy it more watching it because it's a bit more tactically astute. But then again, if you want to make sure you don't concede goals and you want to break away and score exciting goals when it comes to you getting off your seat, then fair enough. We just don't know what Cooper is going to bring style wise to the football club. So
Reedy, we've gone on to tactics and all this and that because it's our ongoing debate where I'm convincing you that Steve Cooper is going to do something different. Are you going to be excited next year? You are going to be excited, and we are going to lose. We are going to get beat without a shadow of a doubt some days, but I still think there'll be some days we'll win it. Let's do a couple of signings talks. Chris Gutteridge, has Abdul Fatwa actually signed? No video, no social media, no announcement. Reedy.
Well, we've always, since last season, the moment we heard at the end of the season when we got promoted, it was basically a done deal in the way of the obligation to buy has been triggered. Like everything should be there to say he is our player. We had to wait, I think, till today to be announced as our actual player. But everything in his contract was there to say that he would sign because he did what he had to sign for us. And as of now, I think he did mention a few days ago that he said he will be playing for Leicester City next season. So I think it's just a matter of what day or what time he does get announced as like that. Shut the signing.
Just get the photo.
Yeah, exactly. That is literally it. But you know, most clubs have these sort of like weird announcement videos that they have to try and make it a bit more fancy and stuff like that. So you never know, they might be doing it right now for tomorrow morning. You never know.
So that's one thing. The next one is we've got to talk about Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, Reedy. What's your view on him going? Because it's not been officially announced, has it? But he's gone, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think it's everything but announced again, like I say, without the picture. But for me, I'm a bit unsure on the pricing again with this new player coming in that we'll be talking about a bit later. It looks like it's kind of only 25 million overall for him. Again, I do think he's replaceable. I think looking maybe from last season, you've got that Callum Herbert a lot of people are raving about. You've got the guy from Liverpool who went on loan to Hull, Fabio Carvalho, again another player who's like more of a number 10. He's not irreplaceable because I don't think someone said earlier on in the show that he's not got the best passing ability in my eyes. I think he's a bit too slow on the ball at times. He can run the whole pitch and then not decide quick enough where the ball's going. Don't get me wrong, he was probably either one of the best players or the best player last season for us, but I think maybe, like I said to you in the car yesterday, it's mental to say that he's our most valuable player after the couple of years we've had. So,
I mean, my honesty with Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is in the season in the Premier. He sort of after his spell at Luton, he came back and looked really good. Got given a big contract, and then I felt eased back, and he was okay after that in the Premier League. I don't think he was outstanding in the Premier League. I genuinely think really in the Championship, some days he was in really, really good form and looked the best player on the pitch. But I would say a lot of the games he was okay and average in the Championship, and some days he looked bang off it, if I'm honest.
No, I agree.
Bad, his passing was bad. I wouldn't be impressed if I was a Chelsea fan for 30 million, being honest.
No, and I did say to begin with that I feel like it might be another drink water sort of deal for them where he barely gets game time. But I think the main factor in the point of one of the things on the show is Enzo went to Chelsea, and all of a sudden Dewsbury-Hall is interested and has gone to Chelsea. So I honestly do think now he could be a starter for most games this season for Chelsea because of, firstly, you won't pay 30 million, but then again, it's Chelsea. I was going to say you won't pay £30 million for a player and not play them, but they do that all the time. But for me, I do see him starting. I don't think Enzo for a second thinking he's going to buy him not to play him. So
you think Dewsbury-Hall will start for Chelsea?
I honestly do now. Again, I spoke to somebody earlier and I did say to them that I think it would be a Drinkwater style of player where he just sits on the bench and then like kind of slowly declines his career. But again, Enzo's there. He's played with him for a whole. He's been with him for a whole year last season with us. I honestly don't think they're going to buy him for 30 million to have him sitting on the bench when he's not that higher level player than someone else. People will disagree with me, but
no. Again, we've run a couple of polls on Twitter and on Facebook. The Twitter poll says 72% of fans on Twitter said they didn't think £30 million was enough. I genuinely am quite okay with 30 million, Reedy. If you're watching this video, just put in if you think 30 million, give it a thumbs up, or just say yes or no in the comments whether you feel, and I'll put some of them on screen. Reedy, are you 30 million? Yeah, we needed it. So
£30 million, yes. I'd say firstly, yes, we did need it. We did need someone to go to sort all that financial issue out. But I think the only but is for me is obviously the player that we're going to mention in a minute. With that £5 million price tag on him, I feel like it might be 25 million. I think maybe the tiniest bit too cheap with it. But again, if they're separate deals, then you probably just say 30 million. Yes, that's fair enough.
I think a lot of people, like Wayne says, they're 30 million about right. We got Craig said 35. I mean, what's 5 million, Craig, between friends? James says, yeah, good meal. Joe says happy with 30. The Shiny Orange says should have been 40. I would think we're not in a position. Again, the deal, I assume, has gone through yesterday, Reedy, to get us through on FFP.
I think so. I'll say again, I'm not an expert on it, but I do think we wanted to get that deal sorted and done in time for that, because obviously apparently if we didn't get that sorted, I think it could have been more to point deduction next season, whether it is Premier League or Championship next season. So I'm glad it's done. I'm just a bit annoyed it was Dewsbury. I wish it was someone else, but then again, like I said, I don't think there was anyone else at that value at the club anymore. So,
and I just want to put Nick Ball is quite right here. What a lot of fans need to realise as well with the Dewsbury-Hall, because he's come through our academy system and gone through that, it is all pure profit. There's no sometimes, like if we sold Daka on, for example, yes, we might get 20 million for him, but the reality is probably RB Salzburg or wherever he came from would get 7 million of that. That's how add-ons work with players like Chilwell and with Dewsbury-Hall. It does all go into the coffers, which is right. Again, Reedy, you touched on this player we brought in for 5 million, young lad, £5 million. He's 18-year-old. So what do you know? Because I know nothing. I've watched the YouTube highlights reel, which there wasn't a lot, and it looked like he was playing out on Vicky Park against some other lads.
Well, he's 18 years old, Michael Golding. Yeah. I've not seen too much of him either, but I heard from Sam yesterday that I think he played around 11 Premier League 2 games. So obviously not in the Premier League, but he's a prospect. Again, if there's any sort of players like say Palmer was a prospect at some point at Man City, so you never know. He could be really, really good. And apparently the Chelsea don't want any money for him if we do somehow sell him on for a lot of money going forward. So I'm not too sure, but again, it's a hit and hope, really, isn't it? So it could come good, it could be really bad for us. You never know.
Reedy, listen, I've got to do the Wheel of Fortune. We're going to be giving away the signed Matty Elliott Leicester City shirt in a minute. So I'm going to say thank you to Reedy. I'm going to let Reedy go. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you very soon. Cheers for that.
See you on Jamie's Sunday show.
Reedy, check the viewing figures out for tonight, and then you can you can go back to the little show on Sunday. I'll let him go. He doesn't know what he's doing. Listen, go and watch the Aftermath show on Sunday. It's always quality with Jamie from the Fox's Arms, as it is with Locks. Now, we've got It is one of these shirts. It's actually another shirt, but it's effectively this one, and it's not the Savage shirt. That's mine. But I'm giving away a Matt Elliott retro shirt. We've been giving it away on the NSBCC. So bear with me while I add in the Wheel of Fortune in here. I've just got to try and do it at the same time. Have you ever tried talking and doing things at the same time? Let me see if I can do it. How do I do this? Just bear with me. There we go. Can you see that? I think you can all see that, can't you? So let's make that full screen. Now, I'm going to give it a spin. There we go. Gary Ferrar has won it. Gary Ferrar. Let's get back to this screen, and I need to stop sharing. Gary Ferrar. Well done, mate. Thank you to everybody who had a go. It was £1 to enter. For every £1 you spent, you got a go on the spin the wheel. I think we've raised over 80 quid for that shirt for the NSPCC, which is fantastic. So thank you, everybody, and well done to Gary. I'll get your contact details off the form, and I'll send you that shirt signed by Matt Elliott for £1. Can't go wrong. We've got more things to give away, obviously, coming forward. We're always here to help raise money for charity if we can. So I'm very pleased that you guys have helped raise 80 quid for that. Thank you, and well done to Gary in there. Paul Wilson says Cov have just announced O'Hare has left the club. Let's hope. I'll get him a car now and whiz down to Coventry and pick him up, and we'll come back down the M69. The day we lost to Coventry, I said, can we sign O'Hare? He's free at the end of this year. If we get promoted, let's have him, because I like the look of him. I genuinely get him in there. That's what we need. A bit of that bite. O'Hare reminds me of this guy, Robbie Savage. I just think he gets stuck in. Do you know what we've been saying the last few years? Let's get stuck in. I hope Steve Cooper brings some of that. I'm pretty sure he will. And somebody like O'Hare would be perfect for me. Richie doesn't want him. Richie, we watch different things. That's absolutely fine. I actually think he would be perfect for Leicester. Young lad, gritty, determined, wants to prove a point, gets stuck in. That's what we're going to need in the Premier League. People who are prepared to slide in and put their bodies online. Anyway, O'Hare has got the right attitude, says Nick. A bit of arrogance with aggression. Snap him up. I'm 100% with you, Nick. I think you've just summed it up beautifully there. That's exactly what I like about players like that. And that's what fans like to see. A bit of getting stuck in and a bit of we want to be here. Ben says he'd have him. I'd have him. Let's go get him. Surely he'd want to come to Leicester up the road. It'd be... A lot of clubs won't have a punt on him. A lot of clubs will be like, yeah, I'm not sure about O'Hare. Leicester, perfect fit for him. Perfect fit for us. Anyway, listen, let's go and watch the Euros. I'll see you next Monday. Jamie's live on Sunday with Reedy. Never mind. And Locks is live on Thursday. And as soon as there's any signings, we'll go live, of course. Peter says, last comment to Peter, go get him. I'm off. I'm going to go and pick O'Hare up, bring him back to Leicester. We want you. I want you. Not everybody does. Richie doesn't, but I do. Let's go get him. Anyway, thanks for all your views, all your comments. Can't do it without you. Thanks for Reedy for joining us. Let's go and watch the footy.
Thanks for watching Leicester Fan TV. Thanks to our sponsors, Everod's, Barlow Blinds, Booker Pies, Pink Car Leasing, Distillers Direct, Hologram, Take Me, Nubian Cow, The Fox's Arms and Rainbows. Run by the fans, for the fans. Follow us on socials at Leicester Fan TV and visit leicesterfantv.com for all the latest news, views and videos.